In the previous video we looked at what causation is, but it seems that still in any case there will be many causes, even given this understanding. But we usually select, we say this is the cause. So how are causes selected? How does that work? It seems that in many cases we will have a lot of causally relevant states of affairs. Imagine a car crash where the roads and the weather and people screaming in the car and the tires and the other traffic and so many things seems causally relevant in one way or another. Or you can even say all sorts of that those got children and that the Big Bang happened, etc. So how do we select causes? Jonathan Schaffer suggests, and I follow him, that it is the choice of contrasts that determines the cause. We looked at that previously, that you can set up these contrasts, and we set up such contrasts based on our subjective interest. So for instance, you can say, usually most people will select the same cause. If someone ignites a house, we will say that this ignition was the cause of the fire on the house and not that it was oxygen present or it was made of wood or other things. But it could be otherwise. It could be that generally people will say, well, this spark caused that piece of wood to ignite and start burning. But maybe in a lab setting with some researchers expecting there to be no oxygen present, if there's ignition causing a piece of wood to burn, they wouldn't say that the ignition was the cause. They would say, oh, there's a leak here letting oxygen in, and that caused it to burn. And so they will say, usually people will say an ignition as opposed to no ignition caused the wood to start burning, whereas they would say presence of oxygen as opposed to absence of oxygen caused the wood to start burning. If the choice is made on subjective interest, does that mean that it's subjective what is the cause of something? Well, the answer is no. It's subjective what you are interested in, and so you set these contrasts subjectively. But when you've done so, then it is objective what the cause is. Then you can't just say it was this bird flying by that was the cause, etc. So you can. You can ask the question you want and specify it the way you want, and then when you've done so, it's objective what the answer is. But what then if there are still multiple causes? It seems that even if you put up contrast, there will be many things influencing. Even in that case, you can say, well, it's also relevant how the atomic forces at work, etc., are, etc. Could we then say that in any case something is the most important cause? Well, you can keep on narrowing it down, zooming in with this contrast in order to find out what's most important given what you are interested in. But usually there will be many things that influence at any given time, and what people think is most important will often be then depending on what they are most interested in. And usually it's people are interested in the same thing. So if John has thrown a rock at the window, making it break, and the person owning the window asks, "Why did this happen? What's the cause of this?" And you say, "The cause is the stone," or "The cause is the fragility of the window," or "The cause is the other thing." The owner will keep on asking until, well, it was John who threw the rock at the window, and because they're interested in finding the person responsible. But it could also be that this owner of the house had ordered bulletproof glass and doesn't care about John throwing a rock on the window because it wasn't supposed to break from that. Because the person is after is that it seems to be in a swap day. He got the wrong window, and that's the cause. You got a normal window as opposed to bulletproof window. That's why the window broke. What we want to learn from this is that in important questions, especially in questions of free will and responsibility, etc., we need to be aware of this. What are we interested in? Why are we interested in? How should we set the contrast in order to determine then the cause that we are looking for here? So that's why we spent some time on it. But now we're done with chapter 4 and ready to move on to chapter 5 on the mind.